Archangel Michael says, "Only a short time remains and this word must reach you without delay, because heaven has shown me that shadows are rising to take what was written for you in the book of blessings, and the meeting they are preparing carries intentions that seek to erase the gifts God has promised for your life. Yet the power of the Lord cannot be removed from one whose heart clings to His love, so listen carefully with faith. For what I reveal carries not fear but assurance that His hand is stronger than any plan of darkness." Type Amen if you believe in God's endless mercy. The hour may feel urgent and heavy, as if the ground beneath your feet is trembling, yet remember that the Lord who spoke the stars into place and gave breath to all creation has already placed His covering upon you, and no gathering of men or unseen forces can blot out what He has declared for your future, because the word spoken by God is eternal and unbreakable, and the name He has carved upon His heart remains untouchable by any counsel of shadows. Subscribe to this channel if you want to grow closer to God. When storms rise suddenly and whispers of betrayal surround you, hold on to the truth that the love of Christ does not falter, for He carried the weight of every sorrow, and He drank the cup of suffering so that you would not be forsaken in moments such as this, and as His arms stretched wide on the cross, He gathered every soul who trusts in Him into a shelter that no power can overthrow. Therefore do not tremble, because His sacrifice has sealed your life with everlasting grace. I tell you that even now angels are moving, forming a shield around the blessings destined for you, and while they speak of your removal in hidden places, the Lord is preparing a table of abundance before your eyes, and every attempt to silence your name will only lift you higher in the presence of God, because His light turns every scheme into a testimony, and His favor makes your journey shine brighter in the valley of opposition. The path ahead may appear covered in mist, but within the mist the gentle hand of Jesus is guiding you step by step, and though you cannot see far, He is leading you safely toward a land where promises blossom like gardens after rain, for His word is never empty and His love is never late, and while the hour seems short, eternity has already embraced your life with hope that will not wither. What if the fastest path to wealth was already inside your mind, waiting to be activated by a powerful sound wave? Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it begins drawing opportunities, success, and financial freedom like never before. Imagine the relief of no more bills and the joy of living your dreams. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on this ancient brain wave today. If you feel weary under the pressure of unseen battles, breathe deeply and let your heart rest in the truth that you are not fighting alone, because the Spirit of God surrounds you like a river that flows with strength, cleansing away fear and renewing your courage, and every tear that falls from your eyes is being gathered into the hands of the Father, who turns pain into healing and sorrow into songs of peace. The urgency of this message is not meant to bring you despair, but to awaken your soul to the reality that heaven is near, and that your prayers have already reached the throne of God, who responds with compassion, pouring strength into your spirit and weaving miracles into your story, so that no plot of removal can cancel the blessings that have been written for you with ink that cannot fade. Type 1919 if you believe healing is yours. Stand with courage, beloved of God, because Christ Himself is interceding for you, and His voice is stronger than any accusation, His mercy is deeper than any sin, and His promise is more enduring than any threat of removal. and in the stillness of your heart you will feel his whisper saying, "You are mine, you are chosen, and you will not be forgotten." Archangel Michael says, "Though the hours feel as if they are slipping through your hands and the weight of urgency presses against your heart, I am here to assure you that the Lord who holds time itself will not allow your destiny to be stolen, for he has written your story with love that does not end and with promises that cannot be erased by any gathering of voices that rise against you. Because his authority is greater than every earthly throne and his hand is stretched out to cover you in this moment of trial. Do not allow the fear of what they plan in secret to take root within you, for while they arrange their meeting with whispers of removal, heaven has already called a higher meeting where your name is spoken with honor, and the angels declare that you belong to the kingdom of God, and no power of darkness can remove what the Father has planted, since his blessings are like seeds hidden in the soil of your life, waiting for the perfect season to rise and bloom in radiant beauty. Keep watching this until the very end, for these words are meant to touch your heart with peace. Every attempt to cast your name away from the book of blessings will fall like dust before the breath of God, because the one who gave his Son for your salvation will never let your inheritance be stolen. And though the path may feel narrow and filled with shadows, the gentle voice of Jesus walks beside you, calming your trembling heart and filling your steps with courage, reminding you that no plot of man or spirit can undo what his love has secured through the sacrifice of the cross. The Lord's mercy is not a fragile thread that can be cut by schemes of opposition, but rather it is a mighty chain of light that binds you forever to his heart, and every moment of despair you have faced has been turned into a testimony of his faithfulness, so that when they speak against you, your life itself will rise as evidence of his grace, shining brighter than every false word spoken in darkness, and the heavens will declare the truth that your blessings are sealed. Type 1818 to claim miracles and breakthroughs. I see the plans they prepare in haste, but I also see the angels of the Lord standing like warriors, carrying shields of light and swords of fire, surrounding you with strength that does not falter, and though your enemies believe they are strong, they cannot break through the wall of divine protection, for the Spirit of God rises like a fortress, and the love of Christ covers you like a garment of peace, leaving no place for their arrows to strike. There may be nights when you feel the silence is too heavy and the waiting too long, yet even in those hours the Lord is moving, weaving a design you cannot yet see, taking every thread of removal and turning it into a new door of favor, because he delights in lifting his children when others try to push them down, and his hand restores twice what was lost, filling your life with streams of blessing that flow where once there was only dryness. This message is not only a warning but also a promise that you are not alone in this hour, for the Spirit of Christ whispers peace into your soul, reminding you of the unshakable truth that his blood has marked you as chosen, his mercy has covered your weaknesses, and his grace has written your future in the language of hope, so that even when men seek to erase your name, heaven writes it again in brighter ink upon the pages of eternity. So rise with faith and hold firmly to the love of the Lord, for he is your shield in battle, your comfort in sorrow, your healer in brokenness, and your Savior in every storm. And as you walk through these urgent hours, let your spirit rest in the certainty that nothing can take you from his hand, nothing can silence the blessings he has spoken, and nothing can separate you from the love that holds you forever. Archangel Michael says, as the weight of these moments grows heavier and the hours seem to fall away like grains of sand slipping through an hourglass, I am sent to remind you that no matter how urgent the schemes around you may appear, the hand of the Almighty has already secured your life, and your name remains safely held in the heart of the One who created you with such care and who has never allowed your destiny to rest in the hands of those who gather in secret. The meeting they prepare in silence may look powerful to human eyes, but before the throne of heaven it is as fragile as smoke scattered by the wind, for God's authority stands unshaken, and when He has spoken blessings over you, no counsel of men or unseen powers can silence His decree, because His love is a covering that no force can pierce, His mercy is a shield that no weapon can shatter, and His faithfulness is an anchor that holds even when storms roar without mercy. Type 1717 to affirm your life is in God's hands. In the unseen realm there is a struggle for your blessings, yet the blood of Christ has already marked you as redeemed, and the Spirit of the Lord moves like a consuming fire to guard what belongs to you, while angels surround you with light that no darkness can cross, turning every shadow into a reminder that God's light is greater, His love deeper, and His grace stronger than any gathering meant to harm you. Because your place in His book of blessings was not written with fragile ink but with eternal promise. What if you could unlock a secret brain wave that top scientists discovered inside the hippocampus, the very switch that signals wealth and abundance? Hidden from the public for decades, this breakthrough can rewire your mind to attract prosperity faster than you imagined. Picture the stress of bills replaced with financial freedom and new opportunities. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate this ancient money wave and step into abundance today. Every tear you have shed and every prayer you have whispered has been gathered like precious jewels into the hands of the Father, and He will never allow the cries of your heart to go unanswered, for in His timing He transforms sorrow into strength, disappointment into testimony, and opposition into opportunity, so that even what was meant for your removal becomes the very ground upon which you will rise higher, carried by His unchanging favor. Though they may whisper your name in darkness, the Lord calls it aloud in light, wrapping your life in love that cannot be taken away, and while others prepare their voices to speak against you, Christ Himself intercedes for you with words that never fail, reminding heaven and earth that you are chosen, forgiven, and destined to walk in the blessings secured by His sacrifice, blessings no hand can steal, no voice can silence, and no force can undo. In the depth of the night when you feel the loneliness of your battle, know that you are surrounded by the holy presence of God, who places peace into your soul like a gentle stream flowing through a dry land, renewing your strength with every drop, lifting your spirit with every breath of grace, and assuring you that while time on earth feels short, eternity already holds you, wrapping you in love that is endless and safe. The urgent voice you hear now is not to frighten you but to awaken your faith, because the Lord desires that you see beyond the surface of fear into the vastness of His power, realizing that the enemy's greatest attempt to erase you is nothing compared to God's greater plan to exalt you. And when your story unfolds, you will see that the very attack meant to destroy you has instead revealed the depth of His mercy and the unshakable truth of His promises. Take this moment to rest not in the urgency of men but in the certainty of God, for He who began His work in you will complete it, and He who set His love upon you will never withdraw it. And as you walk through this hour filled with warning, let your heart be calmed by the truth that Christ Himself is your shelter, your healer, and your eternal promise of blessing. And nothing can take away what has been sealed by his sacrifice and secured by his love. Archangel Michael says, "The time feels as if it is rushing forward like a river that cannot be stopped, and with each passing moment the sense of urgency grows stronger, yet you must not let fear take root within your heart, for even as they plot to remove your name from the book of blessings, the truth of God's power shines brighter than every shadow, and his love stands taller than every plan of men, reminding you that his promises are eternal and his care for you is unshakable." Type Amen if you surrender fully to God's will. The gathering they arrange behind closed doors may seem threatening, but in the courts of heaven another gathering has already taken place, where angels stand in awe before the throne of the Almighty, declaring your life as precious and your blessings as secure, and while men may speak of erasing you, God himself has written your name with eternal light, a writing that no counsel, no spirit, and no force of darkness can blot out, because it was sealed with the sacrifice of Christ and strengthened by the power of his resurrection. There are moments when the whispers of betrayal try to weaken your spirit, yet remember that the Lord who walks beside you has already faced the betrayal of men and carried the wounds of rejection, and through those wounds he has brought healing to your soul, making you stronger than every accusation, for his mercy stands as your defense and his love as your everlasting covering, ensuring that no voice raised against you will succeed in removing what he has already secured. Every trial that has been set before you will become a testimony of the Lord's faithfulness, for he turns ashes into beauty and loss into abundance, and while they seek to take away your blessings, heaven is preparing to pour out even more, so that what seemed like the end becomes the beginning of greater miracles, and your life becomes a story that reflects the endless mercy of God and the unfailing love of Jesus Christ who carries you through every storm. In the quiet hours of your waiting, you may feel the heaviness of the unknown, yet even in that silence the Spirit of the Lord whispers to your heart, filling it with peace that surpasses fear and reminding you that his timing is perfect. For while the enemy rushes with urgency, God moves with purpose, weaving a design far greater than you can imagine, a design that ensures your name will not be lost but lifted, not erased but exalted, not forgotten but forever cherished in his sight. The angels surrounding you are not idle, they are watchful, carrying light into the places where darkness tries to gather, and their presence builds a shield around your blessings, so that while others seek to cut you off, the hand of God is tying your life ever closer to his promises, binding you with cords of love that cannot be broken, and covering you with mercy that cannot be taken away, because his protection is stronger than every attack, and his will is unshakable. Do not be deceived by the urgency of their voices, for what they speak carries no true authority, and what they attempt carries no eternal power, because the only voice that matters is the voice of your Lord, and the only hand that holds your future is his, and in that assurance you can stand firm, knowing that no matter how much time seems to slip away, God's plan is never rushed, never threatened, and never broken. For his promises rest on a foundation that is eternal. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul today. So lift your heart toward heaven and let your soul rest in the certainty that Jesus Christ is your anchor, your healer, and your eternal guardian, and as this hour of urgency passes, let your faith grow stronger, for nothing can take you from the love of God. Nothing can erase the blessings he has prepared for you, and nothing can silence the truth that you are chosen, beloved, and secure in his embrace forever. Archangel Michael says, "The hour continues to move swiftly, and the urgency of the message still surrounds you like a strong wind, but do not allow the rushing of time or the noise of their gathering to shake your spirit, because the Lord who holds the universe in his hands is not hurried nor threatened, and he has already declared that your blessings will remain untouched. For his promises are bound to you with a love that no force of darkness can undo." What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. While they arrange their meeting with whispers of removal and with hearts set on your downfall, the truth is that heaven has already spoken in your favor, and the voice of God echoes louder than the voices of men, proclaiming that you are chosen, redeemed, and protected by his mercy, and though they try to erase your name from the book of blessings, the hand of the Father has written it in a way that no power can erase, sealed with the blood of Christ and guarded by his everlasting Spirit. Every attempt of the enemy to silence you is turned into a testimony of God's faithfulness, and while they prepare to strip away what has been promised, the Lord prepares to restore to you more than they sought to take, for his way is to turn attacks into victory and sorrow into joy, making the very schemes of the enemy the stepping stones that lead you closer to his purpose. And his grace ensures that what was planned against you will become a story of triumph. When you feel the pressure pressing hard against your heart, remember that Christ himself has walked through rejection, betrayal, and suffering, and he knows the weight of being opposed by those who seek to harm, yet he overcame it all with love that endures forever, and in his victory you now stand, not as one who is defenseless, but as one who is covered by the strength of his sacrifice and the endless reach of his mercy that cannot be broken. The angels of God move with swiftness, surrounding you like a wall of fire that cannot be breached, and their presence ensures that no hidden plan will succeed, for they carry the light of heaven into every dark chamber where your name is spoken, scattering the whispers of harm and replacing them with the truth of God's decree, a truth that declares your life is blessed, your path is guarded, and your future rests securely in the hands of the Lord who never fails. Even in the silence of the night when you feel alone, the Spirit of the Lord is breathing peace into your soul, calming the storms of fear that rise within and reminding you that time belongs to God, not to your enemies, and every second that passes is held within his control, shaping your journey, protecting your destiny, and preparing you for blessings that far exceed what you have imagined, for his plans are higher, greater, and eternal. Type 1414 if you believe in divine protection. This message comes not only as a warning but as a deep assurance that you are not forgotten, for the Father's eyes are upon you and his heart beats with love for you, and he will not allow your blessings to be stolen nor your name to be lost, but will cause you to shine even brighter in the face of opposition, so that his glory may be seen in your life and his faithfulness revealed through every trial you endure. So stand strong in this moment, not because of your own strength, but because the Lord surrounds you, Jesus Christ covers you, and the Spirit of God fills you, and as the final hours of this warning draw nearer, let your heart rest in the unchanging truth that you are chosen, cherished, and carried forever in the arms of the one who calls you his own. Archangel Michael says, as the moments slip closer to what feels like a final decision, you must remember that heaven has already spoken over your life, and no gathering of men or spirits can undo what has been declared by the Lord, because the blessings prepared for you are not written with the ink of this world but carved into eternity by the hand of God. And His word does not fade with time nor bend under the pressure of schemes raised against you. The meeting they prepare may be filled with urgency and whispered agreements, yet in the throne room of heaven your name is spoken with love and honor, for the Lord looks upon you with mercy that never ends, and the angels stand ready to defend the promises He has made to you. And though shadows attempt to surround your destiny, the light of Christ shines brighter, scattering their plans and turning their every attempt into proof of the unshakable truth that you belong to God. Your heart may feel the weight of fear as if time is running out, yet the Lord who conquered the grave reminds you that nothing is ever lost when you rest in Him, and while men may try to erase you from the book of blessings, Christ has already sealed your name in the book of life through His sacrifice, and that seal cannot be broken, for it was written with His own blood, flowing as a covenant of love that no enemy can challenge and no darkness can overcome. Even when opposition rises like waves crashing against your soul, the Spirit of God surrounds you like a calm sea that cannot be moved, and within that peace you will find the strength to stand, because your life is not held by the threats of others but by the promises of your Father who delights in lifting His children when others try to cast them down, and His hand will always raise you higher than the voices that seek to diminish you. Type 666 if you trust in God's grace and mercy. The Lord takes every plan against you and transforms it into a testimony of His glory, so that when the enemy thinks they have silenced you, your voice becomes louder with praise, and when they think they have closed the door of blessing, the Lord opens a greater one, filling your path with abundance and covering your journey with favor, because He is the God who redeems every broken moment and restores more than was ever lost. Do not be troubled by the rushing of the hours, for time is not your master, it is your servant under the will of God, and even as men hurry to plan your removal, heaven is preparing your restoration, making every second count toward the unfolding of His purpose, and every step you take under His guidance is a step that brings you closer to a future filled with light, peace, and joy that cannot be shaken. Even now the angels of the Lord encamp around you, carrying the fire of heaven in their hands and forming a shield that no weapon can penetrate, and while others may conspire in secret, the Lord exposes every plan and covers you with grace, reminding you that you are His child, deeply loved and eternally protected, and nothing fashioned against you can stand when He is your refuge and your strength. So walk forward with courage and let your heart rest in the assurance that Christ is your victory, your healer, and your defender, and as the urgency of these moments passes, your life will shine as a testimony that no plan of darkness can remove the blessings of God, no gathering can silence His will, and no power on earth or beyond can separate you from the love that has claimed you forever. Archangel Michael says, the moments continue to unfold with a weight that seems almost unbearable, yet within this pressing hour the Spirit of the Lord reminds you that His presence is closer than your breath and His love stronger than every shadow that seeks to surround you, and while they prepare to speak against your name in places unseen, heaven has already spoken louder, declaring that your blessings are secure, your life is protected, and your destiny rests safely in the eternal embrace of God. The whispers of their meeting may sound urgent, as though they hold great power, but in truth their authority is fragile, for no word spoken in darkness can overpower the light of Christ, and no plan formed in secret can stand against the decree of the Almighty, who has already written your name in his book of blessings with a hand that does not tremble and with a love that does not fade, a writing sealed forever by the sacrifice of Jesus, who gave his life to secure your place in grace. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brainwave and start attracting wealth right now. Though your heart may feel the heaviness of their intentions, remember that the Lord transforms every scheme into a pathway for his glory, and what was meant to remove you will instead lift you, what was meant to silence you will instead cause your voice of faith to rise stronger, and what was meant to steal your blessings will only cause heaven to pour out even more, until your life becomes a living testimony of God's unshakable power and unending mercy. In these hours where urgency presses hard, you must rest not in the plans of men but in the promises of God, for while they count the minutes of their meeting, heaven counts the treasures of grace being poured into your spirit, and while they seek to erase your name, the Father is writing it again and again upon his heart, reminding you that you are his child, his beloved, and his chosen one, and no voice of opposition can drown out his eternal love. Type 555 to receive blessings and miracles. The angels assigned to you are not distant, they are near, moving swiftly with shields of light and swords of fire, surrounding your blessings and standing guard over every promise spoken into your life, and though the enemy rushes with haste, the army of heaven stands firm, unshaken and unbroken, ensuring that you will not be cut off, ensuring that your name will not be lost, and ensuring that every plan of removal will collapse under the weight of God's greater plan. Even when fear whispers that time is slipping away, you must remember that time itself is held in the palm of your Father's hand, and nothing can happen outside of his will, for he is not bound by the urgency of men nor moved by the pressure of their plans, but instead he moves with wisdom and purpose, weaving together every moment of your life into a tapestry of redemption, healing, and blessing that will shine brighter than every shadow that tried to overcome you. So let your heart be still, even in the face of urgency, and let your soul rest in the truth that Christ is your advocate, your healer, and your Savior, who intercedes for you with unbreakable love. And as you walk through these hours filled with warning, know that you are not walking alone, but surrounded by angels, covered by grace, and carried by the eternal arms of God who will never let you go. Stand firm in faith, for soon you will see that every plan made against you has already failed, and every word spoken to erase you has already been silenced by the voice of heaven, leaving you with blessings that cannot be taken and a future filled with light that cannot be dimmed, for you are forever held in the love of the Lord and forever safe in the promises of his unshakable truth. Archangel Michael says, "The hour feels heavy as if the weight of the world presses down upon your shoulders, and yet I bring you the reminder that even when the plans of men move quickly and their voices rise in secret, the power of God still rules above every decision, and the blessings written for you remain guarded by his love, for no one can undo what the Lord has spoken, and no gathering can erase what his hand has sealed forever in the book of blessings. They are preparing their meeting with urgency as though your removal is already certain, yet they do not see the heavenly army that has already risen in your defense, for while they gather around tables in darkness, the throne of God is surrounded by angels singing of his glory and declaring your name as chosen, beloved, and secure, and though their plans may seem strong, they collapse before the breath of the Almighty, because he has called you his own and written your destiny with a pen of eternal grace. Even as their voices conspire to erase you, remember that Christ himself is your witness, your intercessor, and your Redeemer, and his sacrifice has already spoken louder than any accusation, because through his blood your name has been redeemed and placed where no hand of darkness can reach, and through his resurrection your life has been lifted into hope that no gathering of shadows can destroy, for his love carries you beyond the reach of their schemes. Every trial you face in this urgent hour will become a testimony of God's mercy, for he never allows pain without purpose and never permits opposition without creating a greater blessing from it, and while they move quickly to harm you, the Lord moves with perfect timing to lift you, to restore what was threatened, and to turn their whispers into proof that his favor cannot be removed, making your story a light for others who will see the faithfulness of God reflected through you. Type 444 if you believe in God's divine protection. Though the passing of time may stir fear, know that time itself is not your enemy, for it is held in the hands of your Father, and he bends every moment toward your good, and even as hours seem short, eternity stretches long and wide, securing your life in his keeping, reminding you that he is never late, never rushed, and never defeated, and while men hurry with plans of removal, the Lord has already prepared your restoration and your greater blessing. The angels surrounding you are strong and steadfast, carrying the fire of heaven in their hands and covering you with light that no darkness can pierce, and their presence assures you that while others gather against you, heaven's army stands for you, making every scheme powerless and every attempt futile, because the shield of God's protection cannot be broken, and his promise to guard your life will not fail. Even when silence feels unbearable and fear tries to creep into your soul, the Spirit of the Lord breathes calm into your heart, speaking gently of his love and filling you with peace that cannot be stolen, reminding you that your future is not in the hands of those who meet in darkness but in the hands of the one who gave his life for you, and in his hands you are safe, cherished, and forever blessed. So do not let the urgency of their voices take your peace, but let your soul rest in the truth that God's voice is louder, Christ's love is deeper, and the Spirit's presence is nearer, and as you move through these fleeting hours, know with certainty that you are not forgotten, not abandoned, and not removed, for your life has been written in heaven with unshakable love and secured forever in the heart of God. Archangel Michael says, "The hour grows short and the voices of those who conspire against you are moving swiftly, yet let your heart not be shaken, for the Lord who reigns above all things has already seen their gathering and has already placed his shield over your life, ensuring that what he has written in the book of blessings will not be erased, because his word stands eternal and his promise to you is not fragile but secured by love that never fails. Though they sit together in secrecy and plan your removal, heaven's counsel has already declared that you are chosen, that you are marked with divine favor, and that your blessings cannot be taken from you, for what God writes cannot be undone, and while their intentions are filled with darkness, the light of Christ shines brighter, scattering every hidden scheme and turning their plans into dust that vanishes before the presence of the Almighty. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the money magnet brain wave and begin your journey today. You must understand that Christ Himself intercedes for you in this very hour, and His prayer is stronger than any accusation raised against your name, because the blood He shed has already spoken on your behalf, cleansing every stain, breaking every chain, and writing your identity in the eternal language of grace. And while they seek to silence your place in blessing, His voice lifts you higher, declaring before heaven and earth that you belong to Him forever. Type 333 to welcome peace into your heart. Every trial you endure in this season is not a sign of defeat but of God's preparation, for He allows storms only to reveal His power to calm them, and He allows opposition only to display His victory, so that what the enemy meant for harm becomes the very ground of your testimony. And while they attempt to strike your name from blessing, the Lord is preparing to enlarge your portion, to restore more than was threatened, and to show the world that His favor cannot be stolen. Do not let the urgency of their voices lead you into fear, for your times are not in their hands but in the hands of the Father, and He does not rush nor tremble, for every second belongs to Him, and He bends time itself to accomplish His purpose, ensuring that nothing is lost, nothing is wasted, and nothing is overlooked. For He is working even now to bring beauty from ashes and to lift you from the shadow of their schemes into the light of His glory. The angels who guard you are mighty and steadfast, standing like a wall of fire around your blessings, and though the enemy advances with haste, their steps are stopped by the power of God's protection, for the Lord has assigned His messengers to keep you, to shield you, and to fight for you, so that no weapon formed against you will prosper, and no gathering can prevail when heaven itself rises in your defense. Even in the silence of your waiting, the Spirit of the Lord is breathing strength into your soul, whispering peace into your spirit, and assuring you that you are not alone, for the love that carried Christ through the cross is the same love that carries you through this hour, holding you steady, filling you with courage, and reminding you that you are cherished, chosen, and secure in the everlasting arms of God. So stand in faith, even as the hours pass, for soon you will see that their meeting will come to nothing, their words will fall powerless, and their plans will crumble, while your life will rise as a testimony of God's unshakable truth, proving that no voice can silence His blessing, no scheme can erase His promise, and no power can remove you from the love that holds you forever. Archangel Michael says, "The hour presses forward like a tide that cannot be stopped, and though their voices grow restless as they rush to complete their plans, you must know with all your heart that their urgency holds no true authority, for the Lord who has spoken over your life remains unshaken and unchallenged, and His promises written for you in the book of blessings cannot be erased, because they were sealed by His eternal love and secured through the sacrifice of His beloved Son." The meeting they prepare in secret is filled with whispers of removal, but in the courts of heaven there is another sound that drowns them out, a sound of angels proclaiming your name with honor, a sound of mercy covering your life like a mantle of light, and a sound of the Lord declaring that you are His child and His chosen one, and though men may try to erase you, the Almighty has engraved you on His heart, and no hand can touch what He has secured. Even as fear tries to press upon your spirit with thoughts of what may come, remember that Christ has already conquered the greatest battle for your soul, and because of His victory you stand today not as one threatened by defeat but as one held by grace, and every voice raised against you is silenced by the blood that was poured out at Calvary, for that blood speaks louder than every accusation, covering you with forgiveness, redemption, and eternal belonging. Type 3030 if you believe Jesus lives in your heart. The urgency of their plans may feel overwhelming, yet the Lord transforms urgency into opportunity, turning the schemes of darkness into the very path of your testimony, and while they seek to strip away what belongs to you, God is preparing to pour out more, so that the weight of opposition only makes the abundance of blessing shine brighter, and what was meant to destroy you instead becomes the very soil where miracles bloom. Do not be troubled when the hours pass quickly, for time is not slipping from you but flowing within the will of God, and He holds every moment, bending it toward His perfect plan, and though they rush in haste, His timing is steady and sure, ensuring that nothing will be lost, nothing will be stolen, and nothing will be broken that He cannot restore, for He is the Lord who redeems and the Father who renews. The angels surrounding you move with certainty, carrying the fire of heaven in their hands and forming a shield that no weapon can penetrate, and their presence assures you that though enemies gather, their steps are halted by the power of God's protection, and while they believe their voices matter, it is the voice of the Lord that speaks with final authority, declaring that you are blessed, preserved, and guarded by His hand. Even in the silence where fear tries to rise, the Spirit of God breathes calm into your soul, reminding you that your life is hidden in Christ, your blessings are written in heaven, and your future is carried in the hands of the Father who never forsakes His children. And as you hold on to this truth, you will see that the urgency of this warning is not meant to frighten you but to awaken you to the greatness of His covering love. So rise with faith and let your heart rest in the truth that no meeting can erase your name, no shadow can remove your blessings, and no power can silence the promises of God, for you are eternally loved, eternally chosen, and eternally secure in the arms of the Lord who has written your story with unshakable grace and everlasting light. Archangel Michael says, as the hours narrow and the weight of their secret plans grows stronger, you must not allow your spirit to be crushed under fear, for the Lord who has formed you from the beginning and called you His own has already placed His seal upon your life, and though men conspire to erase your name from the book of blessings, the truth remains that no earthly voice and no power of darkness can undo what God has spoken. For His word stands eternal and His love remains unshakable. The gathering they prepare is filled with urgency, as though their decisions carry lasting power, yet in the presence of heaven their voices are but whispers that vanish like smoke in the wind, for the throne of God rules above every table of men, and His decree carries authority that none can overturn, and while their hands are lifted to strike, His hand is lifted higher to protect, to defend, and to surround you with favor that no scheme can diminish. Remember that Christ Himself walks beside you in this hour, carrying the scars that testify of His sacrifice and the love that secured your redemption, and because of His victory, you are not a victim of their plans but a child of eternal promise, covered by mercy that no accusation can pierce and embraced by grace that no gathering can silence, and while their intention is to remove you, His intention is to exalt you, to keep you, and to fill your life with blessings beyond measure. Type 222 if you trust that God is with you always. Every attempt of the enemy is turned by the Lord into a testimony of His faithfulness, for He never allows trials without preparing triumph, and He never permits opposition without creating opportunity, and though they move swiftly with urgency, God moves wisely with purpose, weaving their schemes into the very fabric of your story so that the outcome shines not with their victory but with His glory, leaving no doubt that He alone is your keeper. The Spirit of God is breathing strength into you even now, whispering peace that calms the storm and reminding you that your future rests not in their hands but in His, and while time seems short and the pressure intense, eternity already secures your name, your blessing, and your destiny, ensuring that what God has written cannot be erased, for His promises are like mountains that cannot be moved and like rivers that cannot be dried. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. The angels surrounding you stand firm as warriors of light, covering every promise spoken into your life, and their presence is not symbolic but real, guarding you against the arrows of darkness and carrying the fire of heaven into the places where your name is spoken in secret, scattering plans of harm and replacing them with the assurance that you are preserved by the Lord, and nothing can break through the fortress of His protection. Even as the urgency presses upon your soul, let your heart not be swayed by fear but be steadied by faith, for the love that carried Christ through betrayal, suffering, and death is the same love that carries you through this hour, and because He overcame, you too will overcome, and their voices of removal will be silenced by the eternal voice of the Father declaring that you are chosen, blessed, and forever secure in Him. So walk with courage, even in the midst of urgency, and rest in the truth that God has not forgotten you, Christ has not abandoned you, and the Spirit has not left you, for your name remains written, your blessings remain sealed, and your destiny remains safe, all because the Lord who loves you is greater than every scheme, stronger than every enemy, and faithful beyond every passing hour. Archangel Michael says, "The moments continue to slip by with a swiftness that may stir unease within your soul, yet you must not let the urgency of their plotting disturb the peace that comes from the Lord, for while they move quickly to erase your name from the book of blessings, the hand of God remains steady and sure, holding every page, guarding every word, and keeping every promise that was written for you long before these voices of opposition even rose against you. The counsel they prepare in secret may sound powerful to earthly ears, but in the light of heaven it is powerless, for the throne of God rises higher than every meeting of men, and His voice echoes louder than their whispers, declaring you as chosen, beloved, and secure. And while they believe their decisions carry authority, the truth is that only the Lord has the final word, and His decree has already sealed you in blessing, covered you with favor, and surrounded you with protection that cannot be broken. Even now, Christ intercedes for you as your advocate and Redeemer, speaking not with the frailty of human words but with the authority of His sacrifice, reminding heaven and earth that your name is purchased with His blood, and your destiny secured by his victory, so that no accusation raised against you can stand, no attempt to erase you can succeed, and no voice of removal can silence the eternal truth that you are his, and you are safe in the embrace of his everlasting love. Every step you take in this season, though shadowed by their intentions, is still ordered by the Lord, who turns what was meant for harm into a testimony of his faithfulness, and what was planned for your downfall into a stage for your rising, so that the very urgency of their schemes becomes the evidence of God's greater plan, showing that his timing is perfect, his power is greater, and his promises are unshakable, carrying you toward blessings that cannot be removed. Amen.